This time on No Not the Mind Probe, episode number 104, Canned Dead Camera. We have fun.
Whoa,
we have fun here.
That title, I'm sorry.
It's like there's a show, Candid Camera, Canned Dead Camera. So, look, I put it together before. I thought you might like it. I thought the people might like it, so I just did it. And then that's the name.
I said I wouldn't.
That's the name of it. So, look,
sorry.
that's the kind of thing.
If you knew Alan Funt,
Alan Funt.
Mason,
Who's named? Is that real? Is anyone named Funt? Funt can't be a real name. If your last name is Funt, please write in porter@mindprobe.show.
What's a Kunk on Earth?
It's a Kunk name.
Kunk and Funt, and yeah. Well, this is called Welcome. Sorry.
No.
Now I was thrown off by the hilarious title.
Funny.
I didn't get to welcome you to No, Not the Mind Probe. I'm just going to stay regular because we've already been through a hilarious opening. And this is a podcast where we watch and rank the first 300 Doctor Who stories, and we're well past that now in the real world. But in the Mind Probe world, we're stopping at 300. We think that's plenty.
It's a little much. We're like, this is come on. Now
hey,
we're
just. Which is what people said about this podcast. Like when we hit like 20, they were like, "It's a little much at this point."
Maybe that's enough.
Are we tapped out? But we're not. We're in it. We're in it intermittently, but we're committed.
Yeah,
sort of lightly.
We're really dedicated whenever we have time to be.
We enjoy this time that we do this now, and Paul is always looking forward to this.
Shout out to Paul.
But my name is John Grant. And I'm a lifelong Doctor Who fan. Been watching it for 40 years now. Incredible.
I like you said. I'll do it like you. And my name's Porter Mason. Yeah. It's like that checks out. My name's Porter Mason. John has been asking me to watch Doctor Who for 28 years. A few years ago, I finally said yes. When faced with certain death during the pandemic, I said yes. Each episode will look at 2 Doctor Who stories. We're going through the Modern Who in order, and then John acts as our Doctor Who sommelier and pairs that Modern Who story with a classic story. John, what really solid linking? What links these 2 episodes today? It's a very clear and solid link, I'm sure.
It's all about cameras. And you know what? As we were setting this up, I realized it's also filmed by cameras. The cameras, it's on like a meta level, like in every dimension. Yeah. We got the found footage, I guess we'd call it, format here. Coming in, this is our first, actually, Doctor Who found footage. Story. We got Peter Capaldi and Jenna Coleman, the 12th Doctor, and Clara on a mysterious spaceship facing one of the stranger monsters, I think, of the series, in Sleep No More, somewhat notorious story. We'll get to that. Because much of the story is revolves around camera footage, right? And cameras watching what they're doing within the space station, or does it? I must have the only connection, and again, if you've both these stories, not a lot that connects them to a lot of things. Then the other one, it was like, all right, what has cameras in it? And I recall, for some reason, it becomes a fairly significant part of the story for really no readily apparent reason. But we have the 5th Doctor, Tegan, Nyssa, Adric. I mean, just coming at you high, like the companion is flying at you every 2 minutes.
You got Aborigines, you got Romans,
you got everybody. Yes, the second 5th Doctor story, so this is brand new. You have 4 to Doomsday, which features some cameras, and that's your link.
I'll take it.
Look, they're not all gold, okay?
Look, the link isn't strong in this episode, but the title is just, I mean, mwah, it's so perfect. So I think, look, that's why we compliment each other. When you're there, like when there's only one set of footprints, that's where I'm carrying. I am Jesus in this setup here.
And this is good because I feel like these two episodes are where a lot of people are going to come on board the podcast. They're going to be like, I think I want to know what they think about these two.
Yeah, that's right. All right. So look, we have for Modern Who, we have Sleep No More, the 12th Doctor, Peter Capaldi, Clara Oswald, Jenna Coleman. This is television story number 259, the 8th story from season 9. It aired November 14th, 2015. And you are about to have those socks knocked off by this clip that John has prepared.
Thank you for that. Nor you, Clara, to die, to die. Glams have murdered sleep. Therefore, Godor shall sleep no more. Macbeth shall sleep no more.
What?
Shakespeare. He really knew his stuff. They all did. The ancients, poets, all those sad songs, all those lullabies. Sleep is essential to every sentient being in the universe. But to humans, greedy, filthy, stupid humans, it's an inconvenience to be bartered away. Well, now we know the truth. Sleep isn't just a function. It's blessed. Every night, we dive deep into that inky pool, deep into the arms of Morpheus.
I told you he loves his speech. I told you last episode. This is just a speech.
I was just thinking about that because of course it's been weeks since we did that last episode. But I was thinking about this as this listener was like, well, I had trouble finding a quote from this episode. It was particularly great. I was like, I remember this monologue, but yes, last time it was a monologue about the futility of war, and this time it's a monologue about, hey, you should probably get some sleep.
All right. Well, so look. Here we are. Doctor and Clara, they receive a distress signal, which always means they're going to check out the signal. It's going to be clear and straightforward, and they'll just, help out some people. Give them it's like, basically that just means, oh, the car got a flat tire. Just come and help them out. Get them to the nearest service station. They'll be all right.
We don't, it's too bad in our modern world, or that all of us don't have distress signals, right? Just a little and they provide, I love that they provide no information. It's like a little beeping thing. And then you're like, like if I just had a beeping thing, they showed up. You lied it over. There are no opening credits. This is the only episode, I believe, so far anyway, where there have been no opening credits. Just straight into the story with the little guy talking to the camera there.
Right, and part of that is, I think, papered over because it is this found footage, as you mentioned. We're all seeing things from the sense of these cameras, and we see a rescue team from. They're going to the space station to get a distress signal. They reach when they get there. There's a rescue team there, and all we know is that like the crew's gone. The crew of the space station is gone, and they're these weird globby sandmen, looming around. And I mean, rather than the plot, I'm just like I'm going to try to explain what is actually the thing. Which is that we hit upon a certain point that it's like we're like, hey, these sandmen, are they actually just big clumps of eye goo?
Yeah,
and the answer is yes, but that it's secret eye goo that like they are and they aren't. That they as eye goo can turn into dust and get into your eyes, and then in doing so, they can like take you over.
What is that?
Yeah, that was part of it. Is that and then they find out, because it's also important that we're seeing the found footage, because later we find out that like some of the point of view footage is like missing.
Yeah,
and so the eye, it's like, I don't know. It's so confusing, and then like the information itself is contagious too somehow. So it really gets between like magic and like we're sort of explaining away part of it, but then it's like it's just sort of magic. Like information is, I don't know. And then there's a video editing software part of it.
I mean, I did think it did go into a very lengthy Camtasia sequence where people were just working with it, and like, I think it was more of an ad than anything else.
Yeah. So anyway, the Doctor sort of like embeds, like he it's almost like he sends this back into the Sandmen, like an information. And then I don't know.
There are sleep pods, the Morpheus machines,
right? Which is how they do that while they're in like.
They're invented to accelerate sleep or something. So basically,
so
you don't
can only have to sleep for a few minutes a day.
Exactly. You can get all the rest you need supposedly, which is a few minutes a day. But then somehow.
So hold on, to be clear, here's the sales pitch on it. So that's good. So we have more time to like work and be alive than sleep. Downside is your IGU has become sentient.
Yeah,
that's the only down.
Look, there's a dark side to any of these things. Let's see, it compresses a month worth of sleep into a few minutes. And that has transformed, the eye dust in the corner of your eye into a carnivorous life form, which digested the group. This is what Wikipedia says. And
then spreads to other people through the ideas, like that's what's very confusing.
And then the inventor of the Morpheus thing, this guy Rasmussen, is supposedly alive. But then, he says it's spread by spores. The sand guys. Then it may be spread by a video.
The video somehow like activates something in their genetics, and so that's what the Doctor uses to
spread.
Yeah. So that's what the fact that that's true, that the information somehow can modify their genetics, and that's how it's spread. That's what the Doctor sort of uses to infect them back.
I think they leave thinking they've won, but they haven't.
So then what we find out is this actual video that you've been watching is actually infested with IGU monster information. Okay. So and then the episode ends. You're like, dear God.
Yeah. And I mean, maybe you don't remember. I mean, there was that IGU issue back, and that's attributed to this, right? I mean, when a lot of people were killed by that. You may not remember that. It felt really irresponsible to BBC to go with it.
Then they just leave, and sorry, well, not then. The Doctor and Clara leave, and then that happens. So it's like, they didn't really do much here. They didn't.
Yeah. Really it's listed as one of the rare stories that the Doctor kind of loses, apparently. Although we never picked this thread up again about.
Oh, that's too bad.
And then they do have it's presented as a found footage.
You can, by the way, sorry to interrupt you, but you can see in like another like 20 years as Doctor Who is in hologram form or whatever, that there's a showrunner who's gonna be like, I think we should get those Sandmen back. I think I could actually do something interesting with them.
Whatever happened,
and then it's going to come back.
Well, so and then something about the sand is there's a big moment of it looks like we're watching everybody's body cams, like it's set up as found footage, and that he's edited together is what he's sort of setting up, and it's appears like they're soldiers, and so they have their little body cams, and it appears to be cutting around to that. But then it does you do start to cast. So I knew sort of I vaguely remembered what the ending was before, so I was paying attention, and it was they are clearly trying to be clever in that there's a couple times very early on where it cuts to Clara's perspective. And you're like, but she's not wearing she doesn't have a camera on, right? So but it's her looking at the Doctor.
But then you're thinking, you're like, well, this is just like kind of the convention of they have to show her to
exactly, right? Yeah, something like that. But then I guess it's the perspective of the dust. There's a dramatic reveal at the end of we don't have helmet cams. And it's like, I guess it's a very confusing story. idea of sleep dust is just sort of weird. The main guest star is Reese Shearsmith. He plays the
From
scientist.
League of Gentlemen.
Yeah, from League of Gentlemen, and he played. He has a brief cameo at the end of the Adventure in Time and Space, the docudrama, as the second Doctor. He shows up as Patrick Troughton at the very end. There's another note. Bethany Black plays the Grunt, the sort of simple big soldier, and she is apparently the first openly trans actor in Doctor Who. So, a lot of people may not remember, but years ago, trans people were treated like normal members of society.
Yes.
We all welcomed, or most of us welcomed, yes, long ago abandoned that apparently, at least in America. I think I just the top of my notes it just says meh.
Isn't this written by League
Mark
of Gentlemen?
Mark Gatiss, who at this point, for this one, I'm not going to claim him as gay. I'm sorry. He's on his own on that one. We are not taking responsibility as a people for this one.
All right. Well, why don't we head on over to the classic episode then?
I think there's more to unpack. Don't know.
And by the way, look up a picture of these Sandmen because they're really just disgusting.
Gruesome to think about.
I can see this as if your goal is to try to gross people out and get people a little scared with this. I can imagine being a kid watching this and being like, then every time you wipe the goo from your eyes, you're like,
what if my eye just keeps coming up? Yeah.
So,
there's the germ of something here, but it just doesn't quite work.
No. Okay, so classic episode 4 to Doomsday.
Let's go into something more epic and
definitely epic.
One of the best.
Fifth, definitely not just we had a bunch of costumes in the BBC and we want to have some fun. Fifth Doctor, Peter Davison.
Yeah.
You mentioned Adric, Nyssa, Tegan. This is like this power foursome that we have. We have a solid four. They do play string quartets also as well. But this is such an interesting group of companions. Where I think it was like with this group, it felt like they're just trying to keep adding in another companion. It's like, this isn't quite enough. What do we add in this? Then we add in this, and you just end up with this weird conglomeration of folks.
Yeah, and it's not quite. And so this is they definitely still haven't gelled because this is very early on. So this is we've had Legopolis, Tom Baker's regenerated, Castrovalva, Peter Davis's first story, and he's been all. So this is technically
everybody's kind of new.
This is the second story with him, and only like
because
the
this
third
is
for
from
Tegan.
Legopolis, right?
She was from Trock in the one before, but then she came back in Legopolis. Yeah, but and Tegan came in Legopolis, and Adric was only like a little bit before. So Adric's the most sort of tenured of the companions at this point.
Television story number 117. This is to your point, the second story of season 19. It's a 4-parter, aired January 18th to January 26th. That can't be right because that would have been very quick. But let me just check that. That's what it says. So maybe they aired them like one day, like really close to each other. January through January 26th, 1982. And here we have a clip that John has prepared. Love it.
You come in peace.
Of course, and inadvertently, as a matter of fact.
The control, release full life support atmosphere, please. Remove your encumbrances.
Thank you. May I ask who you are?
I am the supreme leader of the people of Abanka in the solar system of Enoxia in the galaxy RE1489.
Goodness me, you are a long way from home.
As indeed are you. You must be tired. Control, refreshments for our guests.
You're very kind.
I am merely civilized.
Is that what the best-dressed Earthling women are wearing these days?
These days?
It's 2,500 years since we were last there.
2,500 years?
Yes, our planets are rather far apart. We come as often as we can. Control, isolate the girl.
You know, I drop in from time to time myself, and nothing on Earth changes quite so often as the fashion. You wouldn't believe the way some people look. Some of them even wear safety pins.
Safety pins?
A defense mechanism.
Earrings.
How barbaric.
Yes. Lot of it about.
I love those guys. They're just really giving it to humans there.
Yeah.
Really laying into them.
I love you should have named one of your daughters Persuasion.
yes. These two are great. I feel like the more I talk about this, I'm gonna have to go back and revise my rankings because this one is just very silly and fun. All right, so Tegan, Nissa, and Adric, they show up inside a big spaceship. Is this a distress? I forget why. Did they just end up here? Or was it a distress signal too?
They just sort of bop in. I mean, just like, hey, what's up?
And Tegan, who I love, Tegan's one of my favorite companions. And then she just like, she doesn't like this ship. It's too big.
She just has really, a lot of complaints.
She's great. And anyway, they end up meeting Monarch, who's a big old frog. By the way, some cool green frog footage later where they're little frog folks on there, which would seem to be either they filmed a frog or the BBC had some nice found footage of frogs that they wanted to use, and that was nice. But he is a frog, and he has these ministers, Enlightenment and Persuasion, who we first see as frogs too, right?
Yeah, they look like him.
Yeah. And then later they come back as pretty natty looking humans with 80s. Green suits on.
Yeah, 80s. They look like, the very classic 80s couple. Based on one of my favorite moments of the whole story is, and it's the end of that scene. It's leading into that scene. She asks about the fashion. She asks Tegan about the fashions on Earth.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, it's hard to describe. Do you have a piece of paper? And then she draws in like, with a pencil and a paper in like 2 minutes, like this incredibly beautiful.
Right. And then that's who they become.
And then they mimic those exactly. So Tegan has that talent. Then later in the story, she's fluent in Aboriginal.
Yes.
It's just like Tegan has a lot of skills in this one.
Yeah. So Monarch is from the planet Urbanka. And they're going to Earth. They want to make, they're just going to Earth. They just want to make contact with Earth. That's all they're trying to do.
I mean, they've been before. They're coming back. And
family trip. Then what we find on the spaceship is that there's just a kind of a variety pack of humans. They picked up like you get a bag of army men and you get all the different kinds. It's like they got a bag of humans and they're all different kinds. And Mayans, Australians, Chinaman, as they say at least 3 times.
That was
Chinese, Greeks.
I think the doctor even says it once. And like,
yes, he does when he's talking about his cricket success.
One of them played by the way, Burt Kwok, who is most famous for playing Kato in the Peter Sellers Pink Panther movies. Yeah.
Oh.
Kato. That's the one favorite.
Well, so who are these folks? And he says, well, he's been there before, and he picks up a few humans each time he goes. But then we find out that actually, and he just loves Earth. So he just I love the whole thing, and I like to, well, no, he actually wants to strip Earth of all its resources.
Yeah.
And so what he has done is that these are actually, all these ones are androids, right?
Yep,
or did he replace? These are androids. Yeah.
I did people, but then he replaced them with androids.
Right.
Like they are androids now, but they were the original people, and he just put them in a circuit.
So he got people, and then he's practicing because he wants to rid them of the flesh, and he talks a lot about how flesh is weak, and so they are now all androids, though they themselves almost don't. They know it. Some of them might not know it, but
the Greek guy does. Yeah,
but they don't act like their complete spirit is embodied now as androids. They're not like
they're basically immortal. Yeah,
robotic. Right.
And they kill the time by dancing.
Yeah, they share dances.
A lot of dancing.
And then this is my favorite plot. Is Adric just hears a lot of this. He maybe not all of it. He doesn't know he wants to wipe out Earth. But Adric, earlier on in the episode, is like disgusted by everyone around him.
Yeah,
and is like too cool for school for Nissa. Not Tegan. He's not even like rating like whatever. But like Nissa, he's like, ugh, you're just some female, and he goes on some like little misogynist rant, very like 15-year-old bro rant, and then later. He's like, hey, this guy who's murdering people, actually, he's got a lot of great ideas. So he's on his side. And at first, when he goes so fully over to his side, it feels to me like he's just buttering up the bad guy he's playing on his ego to get on the bad guy's good side. Then as it goes along, you're like, no, I think Adric's actually into this guy. And then later you find that he is, because the doctor's talking to him, and the doctor easily tricks Adric, and then Adric is like, what? You don't believe that this guy is great? And then he says, I've become convinced that he's a dictator, but he is a benevolent one. He's a benevolent. It's like, oh God.
I think that was supposed to be Adric's character. Like, I think he's supposed to be, they envisioned him sort of this artful dodger character, like, so whatever, like a criminal or whatever. And I guess he'd be easily swayed by these.
Very much so. And he is very smart.
Yeah.
And it's funny because then they're both sort of tricking each other. Like Monarch is very easily getting in, like buttering up Adric, and Adric is.
Look, I'm just gonna say it. It's Elon Musk. It's a very
exactly. Yes,
smart
Monarch is a Trump figure
somewhere on the spectrum. Brilliant kid, easily being swayed by megalomaniac.
Tegan, meanwhile, at some point, gets in the TARDIS and tries to get out of there.
She knocks Adric out and then is like, peace out. And she tries to leave everybody behind. Wow.
Probably the TARDIS prevents her sort of from doing it. Like, she can't quite figure it out. But like, she's just like, I'm out. Like, because remember Tegan because I've seen her now much later in her run too. She just wants to get back to Heathrow.
Yeah,
she's worried that her bags are going to stay the luggage claim too long, and like she just needs to get back.
Well, it's
there.
like she's traveling around. That's what I think is what's interesting about her. She's traveling around. She's saving the universe. Like, she's been to all these exotic planets, time traveling, all that. And she's like, I just want to be a stewardess. Why?
Yeah.
Just get back to my job.
Just want to get back
as a Qantas stewardess. And I don't know what the rest of this is about.
So so there are lots of great lines because Monarch he's just so creepily into this idea of like, oh, the weak flesh, and like I like the way there's a couple things that are fun about this that are very sci-fi. I don't know, it just reminded me of like silly, not great sci-fi. Is a couple times there's interactions where they want to sound like they're talking about really advanced things. So like one time they throw in just some details about photosynthesis, which is it's meant to sound like, oh, it's very impressive that they know this. And then it's just like literally they say it converts light into energy for the plants. And it's like, oh wow, like how do they figure that out? And then later I like how they're trying to get across that Monarch and their Urbankan civilization has advanced so much that sometimes certain topics come up, and they say, well, he wants to get the Earth's resources and replace all the humans with androids so they can like work for him and mine the resources, that kind of a thing. And he says, but you'll wipe out everything. And he says, well, like, it doesn't matter. And then they said, what about you'll wipe out love? And he's like, he turns to his assistants. What are their names again? The
Enlightenment and Persuasion.
Enlightenment and Persuasion. He's like, I'm sorry, what's love? What is this love? And I just love the idea that he's all knowing and whatever, but this idea that I don't know that they would have omitted certain concepts completely from their
the
intelligence
humans that they've all seen too. Like they have
they've been around these humans, and he's so smart and knows everything. He was like, I'm sorry, what was this love thing? Was this a thing? Did that happen sometimes on Earth? So it's just funny.
Well, the interesting thing about him is there's more to his plot, which is very it's kind of in a throwaway line, or it's the Greek guy kind of explains it. So the reason they're leaving Urbanka is because he has stripped the planet of all its resources because he's trying to build the spaceship and make it bigger and more powerful, whatever. And he wants to go to Earth and do the same thing. And the reason he wants to do this is because he wants to go back in time to the beginning of the universe because he's convinced he is God. So he's convinced he will meet himself at the beginning of the universe. He will meet God, and it's him. Which is, it's like, I think it's like only in like a brief moment where they talk about this or whatever. It's just kind of like, whoa, wait, that's a pretty major. That's a pretty major motivation.
It's great. He's a real kind of like Hitler type figure because you can tell that basically he is just really good at this thing that he's doing. So he kind of just invented this idea of himself as God.
Yeah.
So he's like, I don't know, I'm going to do this anyway. Maybe this is the reason I'm doing it. And then he's kind of now, he's convinced himself of it now. He's like,
Yeah.
I think this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Nissa has a real time of it. She's like getting slagged off by Adric,
Yeah.
and then they try to turn her into an android.
Yeah.
And at
She's
the end of
often
the
being turned
episode, she's in rough shape.
She passes out. This leads directly into Kinda, I think. And this is the one that was on the planet, the weird one on the planet, the really weird one, with the crazy guy Hindle and all that. Anyway,
Where she just checks out.
she's
right?
just asleep the whole episode because they didn't expect her to be in the show, and they were like, we didn't write a part for you, so you're asleep now.
There's lots of which is sort of foretelling. Like, I don't know that we're going to find much to do for you.
There's lots of tension between the companions to the point they're almost all a bit obnoxious. Yeah, Adric is really obnoxious. Tegan just knocks him out and leaves, which I think is amazing.
There's lots of knocking out. There's also lots of fainting. Sometimes it's fake. The doctor's fainting. There's just like, and I like that he feigns the faint and pretends to faint to cause a distraction. But I like the idea that Monarch is into it because he's like, oh yes, well, the flesh, it's so weak, and this is happening all the time.
This is what happens.
So it kind of works.
There's also apparently there's much debate over. So there's the scene where the Doctor Tegan has flown the TARDIS like 20 feet away out into space, and basically the Doctor's like, oh, for God's sake. Like he's going to go out to it.
He has to spacewalk out to it. And he's clearly being filmed on a little table, going like waving his arms.
He floats out there, and he was supposed to be sort of let out by Adric. But then they stop. They throw the rope out or whatever, and then he's stuck in the middle of space, which doesn't make sense quite why that would work out. So then the solution is he takes a cricket ball out of his pocket, throws it against the ship, and it bounces and then hits him and drives him into the TARDIS. And there's some question as to the physics of that. Like, I think actually if the cricket ball hit the ship, it would just stop. It wouldn't bounce back, like in the vacuum of space, right? Is that...
If you threw it, it would... I don't know. It depends
move,
on, I guess.
But then would it have the same reaction to come back? I don't think things would bounce. But maybe I'm wrong.
Well, they'd both bounce, so that would go farther. Yeah, they would.
Oh, the Doctor would have gone backwards just throwing it, right? Wouldn't that?
Well, that's true too. Yeah, a little bit.
Well, look. Apparently, a lot of physicists advised on this episode. the science is rock solid. The photosynthesis guy checked on the physics ball thing, and he was like, "Yeah,
now,
check."
By the way, and then this is the end. But I want to point out that the end, ultimately, if you think about it, is to your point. It's this group of assortment of human civilizations all dancing and hanging out, and then we get rid of Monarch. So this ship of just dancing android humans is just roaming around space, having a great time. I think we need to find this ship.
Well, because it has a wonderfully abrupt, like, I think the Doctor has there's a canister of the poison that's going to kill everybody or something like that. The Doctor just wings it at Monarch, who shrinks into a frog, and then they're just like, all right, we'll see ya. Straight, like,
Great.
2 minutes after that happens, they just get in the TARDIS and disappear. Yeah, you're right. Does everybody just standing there like, well, I guess we might as well go do some more dancing?
That's it. I've convinced myself. I'm moving this up in rankings.
Number
1. I always feel like John wants to talk about themes. John wants to talk about themes. I always feel like John likes to talk about themes.
Ooh, Michael. Michael Jackson there.
Somebody's watching me. Cameras. Canned dead camera. It's all coming together.
Everybody's got that link, right?
Can we?
We didn't even talk about the cameras in Fort of Doomsday, but they're there.
Every
time they go in a room, he has to do the little thing with the Sonic, and they spin around.
That camera, it's a floating orb of a camera, and it's reminiscent of, I feel like, another sci-fi floating camera that's watching around. But yeah, it is. It is important enough that we made it the title of the episode, but did not talk about it in the recap of the episode. But it is important. Well, we are adherents of the repeating themes here in No Not the Mind Probe, and we like to talk about ideas and thoughts that are threaded throughout Doctor Who stories, but also time and space itself. John, what did you want to touch on in these episodes?
Well, what are we doing here? No,
What are we even talking about?
But actually, what are we doing here? That may be the theme. So what I want to talk about is religion in Doctor Who, because I do think that monarch plot point about, I'm going to go back and I'm going to turn out to be God, is hilarious and very unusual for something. And I think it does raise like a really good point, which is there a God or not? And I feel like, look, audience, Porter and I actually know the answer to this question. We've known for quite some time. And we feel bad that we probably, it would have really settled a lot for people. We probably shouldn't have sat on that for 104 episodes. And we wisely would have teased it from the beginning so people would stay tuned in to find the answer to that question.
Yeah.
But I mean, on that point, I think it's an interesting, and Doctor Who has very rarely mentions religion, skirts around it quite a bit. And this is, obviously British people are not hugely religious, certainly not like Americans religious. Not
outwardly.
Puritan. And, I don't think that the Anglican Church doesn't seem too hardcore. Like from what I've seen, there's not a lot of hardcore, religious faith there. But I think it's interesting with a sci-fi time travel show, you do kind of have to sidestep that issue because, Monarch is the Doctor could do what Monarch is trying to do. The Doctor could just go back and look, right? Like it's like, hey, how was the universe created? Where is this God person? Like if you have a time travel thing, it feels like or certainly Earth religious mythology. I don't really know any other planets, but I'll just focus on Earth here.
Sure,
but it is like. It feels like if I were maybe as a militant atheist, maybe this is me, but like, yeah, at some point in my TARDIS journey, after a few months, I'd be like, hey, can we go back to a couple of these events that are?
I just want to check out. I just want to see a couple things. I just want to make
the giant flood with the Ark. Can we see if we could go to Noah's Ark? And what about the 10 Commandments coming down the mountain? Can we check that? That's the Red Sea. I'd love to see that Red Sea parting. Like
there was a bush; it was burning, like in some way. I just want to.
And like the Doctor would be like, this is really busy. So it is interesting that you have to sidestep that issue, certainly with Earth religion. Although a slight spoiler, the most recent Christmas episode does kind of touch on a little bit of birth of Christ or whatever.
And by the way, I just want to chime in to say we haven't been talking much about the Disney Who because I haven't watched most of it. Whatever we talked about the first couple episodes. So as I watch it, we will bring it into the episodes suddenly without warning. There's no way for you to plan. You'll just have to listen to all the episodes.
Yeah. So whatever, you can pray to whatever God you pray to, that Porter gets his act together.
Well, and also remember, it is not in the mandate of this show to talk about those stories.
That is 300 episodes.
Bonus. In fact, really, we got to throw up a Patreon because really we should just be talking about those episodes in the special paywalled content.
Yeah, everybody else does that. But then Doctor Who has a lot to say about religion. Otherwise, right? There's a ton. There's always sort of cults and false gods and all this other stuff and other play. Right? I mean, that is a very common theme of crazy religious figures. In throughout Doctor Who, right? And they worship this, and it's sort of ridiculous and silly, but has to play. Completely avoid that really. So I was trying to think, are there, I think a lot of, I don't know that any sci-fi show really, especially time travel show, they seem to have to just play off the, we're not gonna touch the God thing at all, except perhaps famously, I believe that was the ending of Quantum Leap, wasn't it? When he,
I don't know, really.
I think he leaps, and I think the implication is that it's been God sending him around to all these places to fix these things, and then that is why. Sorry for spoiling Quantum Leap if people didn't watch it, but I think that was the implication, which is obviously a bit of an odd.
So, Al is a mysterious bartender that Dr. Sam Beckett meets in the final episode of. I'm going to watch this. I don't know that I've ever watched this.
Yeah.
He is heavily implied to be the one behind Sam's leaps, and also assumed to be God himself.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which again, all powerful God, and he's like, I gotta fix this stuff. I know I will interrupt a time travel experiment. And then without any explanation, I'll take a guy and just randomly throw him into stuff and he'll know what to do. And then I
don't know how much I'm gonna have to add about this. One I was just gonna ask about is, do you know if because I'm not a real I don't know a lot of details on Star Trek. I feel like religion must be covered in different ways there, not in the way you're describing. They don't go back in time to certain things, but they must explore how certain religions and our different cultures use religions differently.
They do get to other planets, right? And they're definitely weird religious things, and they believe in this and they believe in that, but no mention of religion in in Earth, right? There's no like they're not like Counselor Troy, like, oh, she's busy, she's got she's doing communion today.
Right. So
like they have no religion.
The implication, right? The implication is we kind of ascended past that.
Yeah, right. And it's like that it is sort of the strong implication that in order to have this utopia of the future Federation, whatever, that they can't have religion. They can't, or none of the great religions of Earth survive into the 23rd century or whatever. And again, has to be completely avoided in a way that it doesn't make sense to avoid it. I mean, it undercuts the realism of Ford of Doomsday. It's like, well, now I don't believe this frog guy because they aren't handling religion at all very well. The whole thing is falling apart here. But yeah, it's just interesting that that the sci-fi seems to have so much to comment on religion, because it certainly has a lot to say about it, but then seems to just eliminate it from its own story.
But that's because I think they like to hold it as at an arm's length and not sort of inspire, they can always say like, oh, we're just talking to just these are just thoughts. These are just the way we're thinking about it. Whereas if they were actually just do an episode, be like, yeah, Jesus was actually just kind of an idiot. And then, they might get a few letters if they did that episode.
He was just a schlubby, like sort of Jewish guy, like from Long Island. And he's like, hey guys.
Yeah. It's like he didn't,
amazing.
He didn't like produce fish for people. He like had pratfalls on a bunch of fish and fell down and like
and everyone's like, we should probably rewrite this. Hey, don't write in. Because we don't check the email, but also we're not making fun of religion. We're just
so. I mean, I truly think that's it. Obviously, anything prior to, I don't even know, 10, 20 years ago, literally they would have been, they couldn't have put it on air. And then now, even in I'm sure there are some like smaller sci-fi shows or something like that or time travel type shows where they explore this and have someone go back and like actually meet Jesus or Muhammad or whatever. But again, it's like you get so much heat off of that it's like, well, why don't we have them meet another planet's religion whose guy's name is Shmuhammad, and we'll really do it about that. Because it just absolves them a bit from the
certainly there's a controversy. I mean, it does feel it is interesting to like Time Lords obviously wouldn't have religion. So I have to say Mike has had me watching, because I had never seen it, Battlestar Galactica. And that we're only 2 seasons in so far, but that has a heavy religious. Surprisingly, really, right? Like religion is guiding or part of and I guess Mike says, it remains a major plot point of the whole series. So that'd be one, where they definitely tackled it head on and weren't like, nah, we got rid of all that a while
ago. I don't know if that was a part of the original Battlestar Galactica series.
I don't know either.
In some way, because I never watched that one.
I just remember the little robot from that one that was like, it's a very, it just interests me. It's like, you couldn't. It's so fundamental to our lives. I mean, even if you're not religious, it's just everywhere around you, right? And we're politics is influenced by stuff like that. Sci-fi just writes it out from so much of their stuff, so it becomes just, it's so jarring. in this episode in Fort of Doomsday where he's like, "Oh yeah, I think I'm God," and it's like, "Whoa, whoa."
Righty. We've made it. We've made it.
Mm-hmm. We've had a conversation about religion.
We talked about religion.
Yeah, Porter was like, "I'd like to draw a bunch of pictures of Muhammad." I was like, "No.
I did. They're right over here. You want me to get these out?
No,
Okay.
We're good.
We are gonna rank things, and because we talked about this last episode.
Yeah.
What ranking is? It is a list of things, and then you put them in order of how you like.
Like them, yeah.
And then you number them. And so if you like something more than another one, that goes higher on the list. And that's what we're doing with the first 300 official Doctor Who television stories. That's what we're doing. And we've already done that with 206 of them. So now we're going to add 2 more. Now, I'm going to start mine. And as I talked about earlier in an earlier section, in the recap section, which is section number 2, go back. I don't put chapter markers in. You'll have to do that yourself. I don't have all sorts of time.
Got to find them.
This is one of those where I changed my ranking during the show.
Oh, that's exciting.
Let's start with Sleep No More.
Yeah.
Definitely this is the worst of the Peter Capaldi stories, but I couldn't quite put it in the complete basement. I think as a Who aficionado, you probably put it lower than me. But to me, when I really looked at some of the other episodes, which I just really disliked watching, this one was just sort of weird. I just the whole time just kept being like, all right. So I do have it pretty low. I have it 166 out of 208. Yeah. Pretty low, but not in the complete basement. Not because it had that many redeeming qualities. It wasn't I don't know. Some of the ones at the real bottom, I just was mad while I was watching it, and this one was just this is not good. It's kind of disappointing. Yeah. Now, Fort of Doomsday, I had higher than that, but not that much higher. I think still in the bottom half. When we were talking about it, I was like, you know what? I love this. It's so weird and stupid. There's so many things. I really love Monarch, and I love his 2 assistants. I like the little picture of the frog that they show.
Yeah, important to have frogs.
I could see this being a never recommending to anyone else to watch, but being I could watch this again and just laugh at it and enjoy it.
Just quietly go into a dark room and close the blinds. Yeah, and put on Fort of Doomsday.
So I kept moving it up and up and up. You're not going to rank it like this in any way. You're going to rank it probably bad. Yeah. I ranked it 38. It's right below Vincent and the Doctor.
Similar emotional resonance. Yeah,
that's where I reached the threshold where I was like, I can't put it above this.
I would feel bad about that.
I put it a level of others, probably poorly. Also, I just felt I do really like Davison, and I don't put a lot of his high, but it's I actually end up liking this Doctor. Yeah. And these companions are annoying but sort of endearing too. So I was just you know what, let's give them 1. Let's put them up there.
I'm sure they.
So that's what I did. That's what I did.
Yeah, I think we were in agreement.
With my initial rankings, we were probably in agreement.
I think we were pretty close. Yeah, Sleep No More. It's just it just didn't. It doesn't work for me. I find of course, it's ridiculous to be these monsters are a bit laughable. Whereas others, I'm well, come on, the rhino people from the crawls are obviously no, but monsters don't quite work to me. They're a little strange. I just don't. Again, it's not. I don't fully understand where it's all coming from. The plot, obviously, we can't figure out still. So that's always a bad sign. And then there's nothing. If you're going to be. If it's going to be this weak of a story, then be funny, and it doesn't. There's not even a lot of good humor in it, which is unfortunate. I find the troops very boring. We spent a lot of time with that squad, so I didn't find them particularly.
I think
interesting.
It's hard for Doctor Who to try to be just straight on full horror, which is, by the way, why Blink was done without them, and then that worked.
That's a really good point. Yeah, the Doctor is a figure that sort of undercuts any horror too.
Yeah.
So yes, I've got it 187. It's just above Horns of Nymon. I couldn't quite give it that bad. But below the 10th planet, below Delta and the Bannerman. And yeah, just in my it was. I can always tell how my sort of instinctive reaction to a story when it takes me a long time to gear up to watch it. Like I'm like, I gotta do Sleep No More, and then I'm like, I'll watch something else.
It's only 45 minutes.
Yeah. And yeah, for the Doomsday, it was amusing to talk about it. But yeah, it's very slow. It does have some crazy ideas. I wish, but I have to say, I watched it for years. Of course, I mean, I still obviously watched it multiple times. It was definitely heavy on the PBS rotation. So you saw it over and again. And it was not until very recently that I grasp the God point, right? Which does it's like I missed that one over my head entirely. And yeah, the companion's a little much. So it doesn't land quite for me. I give it gets a little extra points just for that weird story twist. And so I've got it at number 176, just below Castrovalva, which is also sort of this crew, and in the sort of a weird twist story, but not quite the MC Escher level of MC Escher. So yeah, it's and above the Lazarus Experiment creature.
Well, combining our scores, we have Sleep No More coming in at number 184 out of 208 currently. So definitely the farthest one down of the 12th Doctor. And I'm trying to see, is it the lowest of the new Doctors? It's right next to Hungry Earth, Cold Blood, right below that, which is the 11th Doctor. And then it's just above Impossible Planet, Satan Pit, which is the 10th Doctor. We also have The Long Game for the 9th Doctor.
Oh, yeah.
As pretty low. And then
Creature from the
New
Pit.
Earth and Love and Monsters. 10th Doctor stories are the...
Yeah.
Oh, Fear Her. That's that's the very bottom.
Yeah, Time to Run the Edge of Russian Fury. Yeah.
For the Doomsday, because of my heroic effort, I brought it back a little bit up into the conversation, and it is tied with 110 with the Highlanders, and just above Marco Polo and Rose and some of these things.
Hey, people
probably doesn't
like
make
that.
any sense, but you know what? That's just what it's going to be. You can see these rankings on mindprobe.show. That's our website.
I like that. Look. You can deal with that yourself, okay?
Sorry. I didn't mean to move on for that because two things. Magazine, but also I wanted to mention the Doctor rankings. So currently, John, I was just curious because now we ranked a low one for Peter Capaldi.
Yeah, is it
still doesn't change for you. So I just want to read off. Here's how you currently have the modern Doctor Who's ranked. You have Capaldi first, Matt Smith second.
Right.
The 9th Doctor you have next, and then David Tennant.
Interesting.
So that's interesting. And then, but again, part of this is that the 10th Doctor, we had a couple of those, the ones I just mentioned. Fear Her brings it down.
That's true
for me. And so I don't know if that matches your opinion, because when I look at it, it actually does probably match my. Why am I blanking on the name of the 9th Doctor? The
Christopher Eccleston.
Christopher Eccleston. I just saw him in something else, by the way. This actually does match, I think, my ordering, which is mine are ranked Matt Smith, David Tennant, Capaldi, and Eccleston. Which again, and it's still Eccleston like pretty high compared to everyone else, but it's like, yeah, that's about how I would order them for me. But
interesting.
Yeah,
I think they're interchangeable for me. I really I mean, I think David Tennant probably comes in at the end because I do. I like Russell T Davies, but I do think some of his stories are just way off the mark. So I think probably there's just there's several that probably just didn't land for me from the Tennant years. And then
Moffat.
I love Stephen Moffat, right? I love the how clever Stephen Moffat is. So yeah, it makes sense. I think it's the Moffat stories that are elevating the 11th and 12th.
I just don't think there's any question. And again, I haven't watched the remaining here before what you tell me about the strength of the 13th Doctor stories. I just don't think there's any question that like for the modern Who, it's those first few seasons of Moffat, including the first few seasons of the end of the 10th Doctor, beginning of the 11th, that are like those are the best. Like they're just great.
Well, and I think that this is we'll get to it obviously, but I think this poor Chris Chibnall who took over from Moffat, those 13th Doctors. I actually think they're probably fine stories, but like. You're so used to Moffat that then there's just like when you're like, oh, there's only like 2 subplots.
Well, and again, even the end of these Moffat years, it's getting much more hit or miss. Like I think he came in with so much like pent up energy and
So
built
many
up
ideas,
ideas of what he wanted to do with who, and he did them.
Yeah.
And then it sort of like, started to peter out.
Well, and as we talked about, he has like 5 ideas that you could turn into complete seasons of stories that are thrown away in like 5 minutes. He's like, no. So Doctor Who Magazine, somewhat in agreement with us on these. Sleep No More coming in close to the bottom, 33 of 35 for Peter Capaldi.
Have we watched any of the other 2 that they have lower?
Yes, the lower is Kill the Moon is lower,
Oh, okay.
and then In the Forest of the Night is the lowest one. That was the one with the trees the magic trees that saved the Earth in London.
Interesting.
So yeah, those are the lowest.
I find this one definitely worse than I mean, like that's surprising.
Yeah, it's definitely down there. And then Fort of Doomsday is 17 of 20 in the Davison years. Below it is We Have Not Watched the King's Demon.
They don't understand it. Nobody understands it like me.
Warriors of the Deep is below it, which again I have a soft spot for. And then I think Time Flight, the Concorde one, is pretty bad. I think you should go to a Doctor Who convention and like wearing like a Fort of Doomsday T-shirt and like a panel where you're like, you don't get it. Why don't you get it? Demanding
I heart Monarch. Like Monarch was right. Well, look, if you want to write in and tell us your opinions on these, you can write us at porter@mindprobe.show. You can write John at mindprobe.show. It'll go to an email address.
I
John
forgot how to check it a long time ago.
Or you can find us on social media, maybe. I don't know.
You know what? I joined Blue Sky.
Oh, okay, cool.
But I can't remember what my screen name is.
Yeah, you can look for us. By the way, you can also, I don't mention this often enough, I do a comic called Rooney the Rabbit.
It's very funny.
Rooney Comics, ROONIE comics.com, or look for that on all the socials, and you can find me there too if you want to talk to me there. Yeah. Paul is a fan of Rooney Comics, which is it's on you can get them on Blue Sky, Threads, all the various ones.
They're very funny.
I started posting them again on Twitter, X, whatever, just to see, because I just had stopped for a while, and then I was like, I'm gonna post these again, and also because my following on Twitter, you could see just people just fleeing it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so my follower count would just go down even with not even like posting anything. So I was interested, like, if I post more, what happens? I also want to see if Nazis enjoy my comic. Like, I want to know. But it's just been interesting seeing what I get there. I do see good feedback on Mastodon also.
Ooh,
and Blue Sky
so
and
many
Threads,
things.
which is
so much social media
where they kind of split into those. So anyway, you can contact us there, and then next episode we're gonna come back with some more stories. We don't know when that'll be. Maybe it'll be right after this one. I don't know. We'll see. What are we going to tackle in the next episode?
Next episode, we have it's a big one. It's a major one. We have the 12th Doctor and Clara rocking along here, and they run back into Ashildr or me. She returns as does the kid from Flatline, whose name I can't remember, but he was cool and we liked him. He comes back and they all together face the Raven, which leads to some major plot developments. And Face the Raven storyline involves
Riggsy.
Yeah, Riggsy. That's it. Now, Face the Raven storyline involves a pedestrian on the street has a camera. So in the next story, Face the Raven. Face the Raven involves a countdown, a major countdown to the big event, to something terrible happening to Riggsy and then Clara. And so I paired that with a story, a First Doctor, Stephen and Vicky story. We haven't done a First Doctor one in a while. Just a few episodes. But a First Doctor Stephen Vicky one called Galaxy 4, which involves a countdown to a planet's destruction. Galaxy 4 are a very interesting story in that for a long time there was only one episode remaining. Then I believe then I think they found another one. Or no, there was one part of an episode remaining, but then they found another one, and then they animated the rest of it. So another hodgepodge of film and animation. But yeah, Galaxy 4.
We have I'll sort of play us out here, but we've done a lot of the first Doctor, but then we have a big gap. Now, is that because they're missing, or are we going to get
First Doctor ones?
Yeah,
there's just a lot of them. There are a lot of stories.
Well, they're sort of all in a row. The ones we're missing. It's the Space Museum, the Chase, the Time Meddler. Galaxy 4 is right in the middle of it.
Yeah. And then we had the Daleks Master Plan, which is 12 episodes, which I had to divide into 2. That's a big one. Yeah. We
got a big chunk there. But we've watched a lot of the first Doctor. But yeah, Vicky. That's why I don't know her, because I've barely even seen her.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, join and watch with me as I discover Vicky. I've been Porter Mason. This is No Not the Mind Probe.
Mm-hmm.
Good night and
Good
God
luck.
bless. Candid Camera.
Candid Camera.